Give them a shot to do what?
This is the High Spot Podcast on the Give Shot Network. I am Jeff Martin alongside my tag team partner, the trendsetter, Brian Berga. And again, you're watching another thrilling episode of the High Spot Podcast, HSP on the Give Us a Shot Network, brought to you by, powered by not BKFC, by Bucked Up Energy. I'm already getting ahead of myself, trendsetter. It is Bucked Up, who is the best tag team partner for HSP Podcast. Make sure you listen to us on all podcast platforms. If you can't watch us, make sure you listen, but also make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode of HSP. Well, Trent said I'm a little excited because this is BKFC's biggest weekend, and that is KnuckleMania. Of course, wrestling has WrestleMania, but this is KnuckleMania 6 from BKFC. We are Philly-bound, trendsetter, excited to cover this event. I got my little fix when we were covering BKFC in Newark, New Jersey. And, of course, we are covering them over on HSP Media on our Instagram. So make sure you follow us at the HSP Media. It's going to be KnuckleMania weekend. And I'm excited, trendsetter, because we're going to start off with that. What is going on, my friend? Are you ready?
I've been ready, man. New York, New Jersey was such a fun experience in terms of covering the event, seeing the excitement in the air for it being in New York, New Jersey, and now in Philadelphia, which, they call the city of brotherly love, right? In terms, that's a fight town, as anyone would say. And listen, very appropriate too. A lot of historic things have happened in New York, and this is the first time, if, I might be wrong in it, and people will correct me on it as well, but back-to-back KnuckleManias.
It's always been there. It's always been there. It's been there since day one-ish. So, yeah, BKFC 6. Wow, 6 years already. And it's time to hop on board because this is one of the best new sports now. And I've seen a lot of people in the comments even say, I'm skipping UFC this weekend to watch BKFC. This is going to sell out. They're not just saying it to get for ticket sales. This is going to legitimately sell out. Tickets have been really, really good. They've been going. So it's going to be great to cover it. And again, I got my fix back in October, I believe, in Newark, New Jersey, the first time we covered it. But again, all our coverage will be on the HSP Media on our Instagram. So make sure you follow us there for your BKFC fix. You do not want to miss it, folks. It is one of the fastest growing sports in the land. No gloves. So this is bare knuckle. That's why it's bare knuckle and BKFC. And it is not a lot of sports, trendsetter, that you can say is capturing the eyes of people. It's always hard to think of something new concepts, but this is one where it's catching on. It's like, the rounds are fast, and then the action is even faster too. And, from watching it and everyone giving it a chance too, everyone's very open to this. And of course, the man behind it too is, of course, one of the owners, and that is Conor McGregor. So I think he has that little spice and pizzazz to it. So I think that it's going to be an exciting night. I'm looking forward to it, man. And again, people are actually tuning in to BKFC over the UFC. Some people maybe have gotten a little tired of UFC and moving on to something else. I think BKFC has a very bright future.
I think it does too. It's not also give credit to one of the primary owners of BKFC, David Feldman.
Yes.
Yeah. It started off with him. Conor has been a partner that's helped elevate it for more notoriety. Smart move there from a business decision. But listen, how we mentioned it in Newark, New Jersey, right? Finally being there live. And we saw it also in Connecticut during another BKFC event at the moment.
You're right. I was just going to bring that up. I totally zoned out on that. So this is my third now. I'm covering BKFC. So looking forward to that, man.
I don't want to get spoiled, dude. But the thing about this, I think why people are so drawn to it, and it's getting the hearts of the enthusiasts out there, not just because of the names, like you said, mentioned Conor McGregor being associated with it, but it is action, though. People complain about boxing being, too scientific, and, it's like nobody really wants to get hit, so they're waiting for the knockout and really protecting it. So you could see people dodging for 12 rounds. UFC, the the best fight the best as well, but now they're having issues with like star power in a sense, and they're having issues, in my opinion, of just having exciting fights because sometimes you don't get that stand up. Here it's purely stand up, and you're going to get action. Like I mentioned in Newark, New Jersey, one of the benefits here is that although it might end fast and quickly, which is something obviously they don't want to, it's action. You can't dodge, you can't run. There's going to be blood, and so I think if you're a fight enthusiast, you're going to be drawn to that because if you're going to pay your ticket, you want to get your money's worth. And for me, BKFC is doing that.
Kind of sounds like KFC too. So it makes me a little hungry too. But we're coming off the UFC. Also, we had Pimblett and Gaethje, and that was a good fight too because I remember we were doing our best to try to cover that one and try to give you a little bit of a preview. But so we're coming off a good one there. And so this one is going to be amazing. And of course, it's all about the heavyweights. Everyone loves the heavyweights. And I think in everything, they're just larger than life, right? Just like in pro wrestling, the larger than life we see them as. And we got a good one here. I think Trendsetter, I think this is going to be the third time that they meet, actually. So we've got Ben Rothwell and Andre Arlovski for the BKFC Heavyweight Championship. So I think this will be the third time they've met MMA, MMA/BKFC. So this will kind of be the rubber match here. And Arlovski is the underdog. So Ben Rothwell, actually, no, I'm sorry. Arlovski is 2-0. So now it's going to see. It's not a rubber match though, but it's going to be the third time. It's going to be the third time that they face off. So again, heavyweights. I think anything can happen here. So again, to give you an idea here, is Arlovski going to win? Rothwell. I got to go with the guy who's 2-0, right? So I'm going to go with Arlovski here, but this is going to be interesting too. This is the fight people are talking about. They had the weigh-ins, and I mean, this is a fight everyone's talking about. And do you see Arlovski losing or winning here? What do you think?
Well, what can I say right now? These two are big boys. They're big with 275, I believe they both weighed in. Listen, there's no doubt in my mind that in terms of the psychological advantage, it would go to Arlovski, Andre Arlovski. Just because the fact that he's defeated him twice already. But again, that was MMA.
Yeah.
So this is bare knuckle fighting. You're standing up. And if we've known anything in terms of Arlovski's, career in MMA or in the UFC, he's been known to have devastating knockout power, Jeff, but he has also been knocked out before as well. And for, Ben Rothwell, this is purely stand-up. It's more of his forte, I feel. And sometimes, although there's a psychological edge for, defeating somebody twice and maybe someone having doubts, I'm picking Ben on this one. I really am. He's been the dominant champion in the heavyweight division. And I think Ben Arlovski coming into this world is going to be a little bit different. I think his chin's going to be more suspect because he has taken a more of a beating in terms of his career than Ben has right now. He's been dominant in the heavyweight division. So I got Ben winning this one and retaining the world heavyweight title.
Kind of a tale of both fighters who are coming here, and they're on fire because Ben Rothwell has won 4 in a row, and Arlovski won his first debut in BKFC. So they're both kind of on a little hot streak, though. So this is the match here. This is why you want to see this, because someone is going to lose. In that ring, it's going to be their first one at BKFC. So it's going to be the one to watch.
Lose. It just depends how fast they'll lose.
Exactly. So that's the one that everyone's heading over to see. You see a lot more crossover of guys that are finishing up with the UFC and they have another spot to go. So this is a good chance for them to continue their careers and have that resurgence as both these athletes have had. And if you're betting on it, the gambling line is that Rothwell is favored. So he is at -210. And if you're betting Arlovski, he's at +160. So there you go with that one. And then I think everyone's talking about the females as well, Trendsetter. So listen, I think we saw one of the nastiest fights when we were at BKFC in Newark, New Jersey. That one was just brutal. This is the battle of bantamweights. And we've had Crystal Pittman and Jaden Mason Wong here. And I don't know. I don't know how to break it down because I'm just sometimes a little awestruck of these two ladies. So, I mean, you try to kind of break this one down, Trendsetter.
Better luck for you than me, man. Listen, if I'm not a fan of OF, I am going to be a fan of OF. You guys know what I'm talking about. Listen, man, it's one of the things in terms of women's sports or women's MMA or / BKFC fighting is that these women are drop dead gorgeous to a degree. Most of them are, meaning that, they know what draws. Now, for the men, it's pure aggression, violence, right? But with the women, what I find it really interesting, and also I commend them on it too. They have to draw on to a different avenue. I mean, of course, like you said, we saw in Newark, New Jersey, a brutal women's fight, and one that lived up to the hype that they were doing it for. This one's kind of similar in the sense that, listen, these two women are drop dead gorgeous, but they're going to go in there and they're going to go after one another with pure aggression and violence, no hesitation whatsoever. But at the same time, they're using their appeal to draw the audience, which was working right now. So if I had to pick a winner in this one, it's a tough one, man. But I would take, I might be butchering the name, Masan Wong. I must say she's going to come out victorious in this one.
All right, trendsetter. And of course, there is a middleweight bout, which we saw the weigh in, and I think is pretty funny. I think the good thing about this is that you can see their personalities kind of come out here, and it's very, to me, pro wrestling like. And you need to have that because it sells tickets, put asses in seats. And I was just, John Gabarino and Kane Tomlinson Jr. I saw Kane Tomlinson Jr. That guy looks like a badass dude. Yeah. And John Gabarino, of course, Italian, come out with the cannoli. And then the psychological warfare when he tries to, at the end of the weigh-ins, throws that big old cannoli, which, man, I wanted a little piece of there in the front row, but I couldn't get it. And throws the cannoli, and it did hit him too. So it just sets that, it's more fuel to that fire. And listen, John Gabarino is again, he's on a hot streak. He's kind of like the guy here in this middleweight division. So I'm going to say that, John Gabarino wins. But I haven't seen Kane Tomlinson Jr., but I mean, the guy looks badass, man. So, I mean, I'm going to go with John Gabarino. I think that little thing he did today that he pulled, I think it might have really, really irked Tomlinson, and maybe it went to his disadvantage.
Listen, this is what I love about covering events, whether we're covering boxing, we're covering UFC, or covering something like this. Just it always seems to link back to wrestling in terms of aggression, showmanship, psychological warfare. I mean, even in the great days of Muhammad Ali when he was, talking trash to Joe Frazier, that was all part, in my opinion, of pro wrestling, getting inside somebody's head and causing them to make mistakes. Listen, I honestly will have to admit too, I haven't seen enough of Kane Tomlinson Jr. to see any significance in terms of, you look at his record, he has been defeated. Listen, if this was just on looks of who's a badass and who's going to win just on the pure looks, I would have taken Tomlinson here. But listen, John Garbarino is, to me, he's been dominant in this division for a reason. Now, he's had 3 fights. He's undefeated there, too. But listen, sometimes the records can be misleading in one of 2 ways, Jeff. When you see somebody has losses on their record, you're thinking, okay, well, they're kind of a journeyman coming in here, so they really don't have a shot. In this one, anybody has a chance to win. But in terms of, just having experience and just being in there in terms of dominance, of doing dominant performances and having that psychological edge, you got to give it to Garbarino in this one. So I have him winning as well.
So it's also going to be showcasing Lorenzo Hunt and David Mundell. They'll face off in the cruiserweight battle, and this one has Hunt being the favorite here. And again, cruiserweights, it's always exciting. When I always think of cruiserweights, I think of WWE, I think of the Rey Mysterios, I think of the guys that are going to put on a show, and I think these guys are going to do the same. So it's really going to be it really highlighting 3 fights to 4 fights here that you get, and then you get the undercard, which is it's a strong undercard. Go to BKFC, follow their undercard, and of course we will cover everything tomorrow. Trendsetter and I will be at the Xfinity Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for Bare Knuckle Fighting KnuckleMania 6. It is going to be a very good card, and again, like I said, strong showing. Again, they really want to get BKFC into New York City. That is David Feldman's dream. He wants to do that. I think they were talking also about doing an event in Yankee Stadium, which would be something really interesting to do. So, I mean, it is time for everyone to jump on this bandwagon, and because it is full steam ahead. If you're buying stock in BKFC, this is definitely one to do. They ended up 2025 on an amazing kind of finish to the year, and now 2026 starts off with their biggest event of the year. It is the WrestleMania of WWE and pro wrestling. This is KnuckleMania 6, and we're looking forward to cover it. So make sure you stick to all our IG, the HSP Media exclusive coverage of BKFC and KnuckleMania 6 starting on Saturday. Trendsetter, lots to talk about in the wrestling world. We had a Royal Rumble preview and our post show here. Make sure if you didn't catch it and you want to hear our reaction to the Royal Rumble, you can catch it there here on the Give Shot Network. But now it is the road to WrestleMania. It is upon us. Trendsetter, of course, the first stop was the Royal Rumble. And one of the things that we're still talking about, and I think especially because of AJ Styles' interview with Stephanie McMahon on What's Your Story, her podcast, a lot of people still have questions whether AJ Styles is going to truly retire, whether this is it for AJ. And I guess the WWE guy in me wanted to think that, yeah, after this interview, I really feel 100% that AJ's hung him up. Now, some people believe it. John Cena's interview with Chris Van Vliet, he believes that it is AJ Styles' final, that this was it. His final match was against Gunther, and he thinks that's it. There is no TNA run or AEW run as far as John Cena is concerned. But then a lot of people think that he left the door open a little bit with saying never say never. But he was in reference to his child getting in the ring with his son. Now, it could be in a WWE ring, it could be on the Indies, or it could well be on an AEW ring. A lot of people still have dreams, Trendsetter, of Kenny Omega and a Will Ospreay matchup. And, I got to tell you, Trendsetter, looking back on that interview, I'm still puzzled because I don't know if he's truly done. And as a report from WrestleVote says, a lot of people in WWE believe that AJ Styles is not done, at least wrestling-wise. He maybe has a few more matches, but not in the WWE. After watching this podcast, which we thoroughly loved and enjoyed, it was a very emotional one, a real tearjerker. What do you think? What are you left thinking about AJ Styles and his in-ring career?
Well, after the podcast, Jeff, I didn't have really much of a question in terms of his in-ring career. Now, the question that was posed and that we kept talking about, especially after the Royal Rumble, was, is he done completely? Or is there a possibility of coming back due to the fact that he was going to put his gloves on the ground and then pick them up? Listen, I know it's a time-honored tradition in the sense of in wrestling history where when one retires, they remove their boots or some article that's representative of them, put them in the ring, signal to the crowd that that's it. I'm leaving it here in the ring as I started and walk away. For me, listen, to me, that's the ultimate showmanship, not just leaving your memorabilia. I mean, Undertaker did it well to the extent where he took his cap, his trench coat and gloves and left it in the ring. And that wasn't it. So a lot of people are saying, well, that could be the same thing for AJ, except AJ put it back on and left the ring that way. But listen, in terms of his reaction that they showed during the podcast where he said he was AJ Styles all the way through, even when he went to the back, but then at some point he had to rush back into a little area that was supposed to be his locker room and it could hit him. Now, listen, I'm not an expert in anything, Jeff, but I feel like I'm very well versed in body language. And to me, that wasn't the look or the body language of somebody who still had more gas in the tank or was looking for something else to go into. Now, to AJ's point, he's like, never say never. But the only problem with that option, Jeff, is that Father Time is not on his side. He is 48 years old. And I'm not saying being 48 is super old in this industry, right? You have Ric Flair who wants to wrestle at 76. But AJ Styles is feeling it. He admits that he wakes up in pain. During that interview with Chris Van Vliet with John Cena, he said that he told John, dude, I'm 40 years old. I'm way past, I'm tugging on that line. People see that I still have it. And even AJ's alluded to it as well, saying that, you know what, I don't want people to see me lesser than what AJ Styles was. And I commend him on that too. But Father Time's not on your side. People don't understand when it came to John Cena and AJ Styles, how much work it took in terms of warming them up and getting themselves prepared. Now, me, as a true fan, Jeff, knowing they have AJ Styles, I want to use him anytime I get. And the same thing for John Cena, but WWE had a certain pattern of what they wanted to do. Now it'll be debatable, as we will eventually in the future talk about John Cena's final run and AJ's run, if this is it. I just took out of that yes, there's the possibility. I mean, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if he did come back at some point, whether it be with WWE, TNA, or in this case, people are talking about AEW. The only reason I would want to see him in AEW would be for those dream matches, like you mentioned. I'm not really interested in seeing him do anything else, which would be, 1 or 2 matches left for AJ in another company to bid his farewell. The fantasy matchup we wanted to see for the longest time would be Omega and Styles. But I just look at him from my standpoint of a guy that could he do it? Yes, but I think he's balancing that mindset of like, should I? And that's what I see from AJ Styles. Can he still do it? Of course, you and I and everyone watching this believe he can still go. And he's just as good as he once was ever. But does he still want to? I think he's contemplating that because now he's going to spend time with his family as he's rightfully earned that opportunity to do. And so now it will be, can he adjust now to normal life, or will that tug be happening on his shirt saying, you know what? I still got one more here, whether it be for WWE, TNA, or AEW, I don't know. But for me, if I had to ask the question, do I think he's done? I think he's done. The door is open, but that doesn't mean he has to walk through it, though.
It's forbidden door open. That's the question.
Mm.
Like I said, I'm left away, and I thought for a little bit. A lot of people interpreted that the guy was done. Obviously, it's an emotional thing. A lot of people stick to the AJ said he was done in 2026, and then all of a sudden people can change their minds, and he just seemed not to say or give it finality once 2026 came around. And now, obviously, he was doing a farewell tour, and we didn't know it because we thought we'd at least get to WrestleMania and he'd have a proper send-off, but it just so happened that contract was expiring a little bit sooner, and it was going to be towards February. And if you were going to do it, it'd be the Royal Rumble. And then you think about it, and 2016 is his debut. 2026 would be the last Royal Rumble that he appears in. So a 10-year WWE career. And I think to myself, dude, it went by fast, right? 10 years. Just like that, man. I remember exactly when AJ Styles appeared, dude. We were in a snowstorm. It was kind of like a semi-blizzard, and it was the conditions were bad that everyone was going to be stuck home and watching the Royal Rumble. And the rumors, of course, that AJ Styles would be appearing in WWE. We just didn't know where and when. And it was at the Royal Rumble in Orlando, Florida, too. So for him to leave WWE at the Royal Rumble, well, now albeit Saudi, but it was a beautiful match, so well done. Gunther, lived by the moniker career killer, and AJ Styles went off. And there was a video on the IWC Trendsetter where the exact body motion, kind of like John Cena walking out the ring, just like AJ Styles. They put it on top and bottom, and it was so eerily similar. You know what I mean, dude? And we know John's done, and AJ, I just still don't know, man. For some reason, when March comes and that Revolution is in Los Angeles, AEW. For some reason, I just see it going dark and AJ Styles coming out, dude. And we at least get an Omega match, and we still maybe get a Will Ospreay match, even though you're not a fan of that style, taking on AJ. But I definitely could see Kenny and AJ Styles. I always refer to that Kenny Omega press conference where he does that, and he was kind of a free agent. We had no idea AEW was going to happen, and he talked about how his dream opponent is AJ Styles to other, Bullet Club leaders, So that's out there. That's a juicy one. And Tony Khan saying nice things about AJ Styles too this week, and him saying, again, great things about AJ, and how could you not? And just leaves that door open, dude, because he's got that money and he's such a fan. And for him to give that match, for him to deliver Kenny Omega and AJ Styles, he could throw a lot of money at AJ to do this, and you never know. So I just, for some reason, I just see AEW Revolution in Los Angeles at the Crypto.com Arena in LA, downtown Los Angeles, lights going dark, and seeing AJ Styles being there, because from now till then, it's a nice little respite. And maybe Wendy, even though she loves AJ, maybe she'll be like, yeah, maybe you should go step out. And maybe he does have one final run in AEW. But besides that, Trendsetter, what also was like very, very refreshing was that the way the locker room loves AJ and the locker room leader and the type of dude he is. I mean, what can you say? You had the likes of Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor getting emotional over AJ Styles, and AJ just speaking like, dude, this is such a great dude, and the videos of him trying to hold back his emotions and then finally letting go once he gave Xavier Woods a hug and stuff like that. Just the man himself, man, what a great dude, man. And hopefully, when it winds down, hopefully he does have a role in WWE or any locker room, because this guy's a leader and would be a great mentor and definitely would be an asset to any company once he does, if he has wound it down. Any backstage would be lucky to have a guy like AJ Styles.
Listen, that's a lot to say for somebody who didn't grow up watching professional wrestling, right? And did it in terms of a means to an end, knowing that he can make a living off of this to support his family. And just listen, all the values and characteristics like a guy like AJ has are just something to be so commended. And the word that always comes to mind when I think of AJ Styles is respect. This is a man who not demands it, he earns respect from people. And, he's one of the realest guys out there. Is he a country redneck? He'll be the first one to tell you. But those values are so meaningful to the fans because, listen, we've always talked about it before in terms of what makes stars, what allows the audience to connect, right? And, when you first saw AJ Styles, you're like, the move set. You're like, oh my God, I've never seen a human being move or be as athletic. But then at some point, it had to evolve. And it, not that he couldn't do the same things he once did before, nor should he have done the same things he did before. He continually evolved as a character and as a person. And at that point, I think towards the middle of his career, when he was Lone Wolf AJ, part of TNA, and then he went to New Japan, I think that version of him, we wouldn't have gotten that if he signed with WWE right away. You wouldn't have had that. It had to have gone through this process in order for him to arrive at WWE. And the thing is, nobody has a bad thing to say about AJ Styles because the stories we hear, especially the one with Seth Rollins when he was first coming up and he wanted to buy AJ food at a local indie event. And AJ's like, no, just pay it forward, because that just shows you the kind of guy he is. And I'm going to butcher it when I say this real quick, but it popped in my head when I was talking about it, because when everyone had given their goodbyes and the tail end of that video for all the W superstars, and it was Finn getting really emotional. And I gotta admit, I was choking at myself too. And a tear came out, because when you see people emotional about a particular individual, it just shows you how meaningful something you and I will never understand, Jeff, but respect, that camaraderie, that brotherhood that you have, they become your family outside your actual family because you're on the road with them all the time. So that's so commendable. And I thank Finn Balor for being able to do that and showcase that emotion. It's not easy. And for AJ to go there and he's choked up and he's holding back and he's like, it's not about, he said he's always wanted the locker room to feel that way about him. And he said, it's not how much what you know, but when people know how much you care is what's important. And I thought that was an amazing quote, because it's true. When people see how much you care, that's when they connect to you. And that draws back to my point of the audience just caring about AJ Styles. I mean, people, Undertaker, for example, would say you're a Shawn Michaels 2.0. No offense to Shawn Michaels, probably one of the greatest performers of all time. But I will say, arguably, AJ Styles is at that echelon of one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time, that you don't need to compare him to Shawn Michaels because he's AJ Styles. And I think that's what has garnered him so much respect. Listen, if he does go to AEW, I won't be disappointed, because again, you want to see that dream match with Omega and Will Ospreay, right? Those are the only two I could really consider in terms of money fights. Maybe, money could be a factor here, but then AJ seems to be the kind of person like, how much is enough money? It's not always about that sometimes with him, from what I gather from him, because the short experiences we had with him, it just seems like a man's man. But also what compares them similar to John Cena, in my opinion, Jeff, is that they're pretty set on their convictions that John will never come back. He made his decision. And I think if AJ has made his decision, but has left the door slightly open to the possibility of maybe something there, it's good. But I think if he's made up his mind, and I think that will be more evident the more time he spends at home. But I think the more time he spends at home, I think he'll be either, all right, I'm coming back. I don't know where, or I'm not. I just think he's leaning more towards that, because when he heard that heartfelt message from his wife, I don't know about you, but if my mom or, said that to me, or if I had a wife, I'd be like, I'm coming home because I don't want to leave this anymore. He's already dedicated so much of his life to it. Why would he want to go back, especially with this little girl? So I think both John and AJ are true in their convictions, and that's why I say he's not coming back.
When you hear the story of how he put his career on hold for her.
Oh, yeah.
And then how supportive she's been. and then just the way that she so eloquently wrote that for AJ that Stephanie McMahon spoke of. Man, what a great dude! What a family man.
Jeff, what got me? I don't know what got you. You tell me if this got you or not. What got me was in the end when she said, "The phenomenal times are just getting started. Come home." And when I heard that from Stephanie, that just tugged at my heart. Come home. I'm like, oh man. It's like, well, how could you not?
But all respect to AJ, and whether he decides to come back or not, it's his decision. And I will feel. Everyone says it, dude. That he can still go. He has not declined. And then you have the athlete where he's like, they don't see that though. They don't see the what I have to do to get ready. So I mean, I'm gonna say that he's gonna have that itch to do it again. And he's conquered, WWE. He's conquered everything. I mean, Roman Reigns saying they would have loved to have one more chapter. Well, I would love to see that, right?
I would have loved to have seen it too, man.
But we know how it would have ended, though, for AJ. It would have been taking a loss to the tribal chief, but still would have loved to see them in the ring. And I think the only thing we were ever cheated was just that time was not on our side when it came to a Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles match, right? We never got that. But see, here's the thing. We got cheated out of that because of time. We still are not going to be, there's a possibility of not being cheated by AJ and Kenny Omega. And so we'll see what happens, but I will respect anything that AJ Styles does, and I will continue to support him, and I will be a fan, and I will watch that matchup when and if it happens. And then how about this record by AJ Styles? He has the distinction of being the only wrestler to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and the WWE Champion. That is a great record to hold. That is great for those 4 companies to do that. Special guy in AJ Styles. And of course, Gunther comes out and he plays off of that, which was great heat. I think he came off better off this than him actually beating John Cena. This Monday night, he just came off a little bit more than beating John Cena. It just seemed like it was more of a sadness
100%
with John, right? That we still didn't want to. But with AJ, we accepted it. And it was more about Gunther and Gunther coming out to the AJ Styles entrance. I would have loved him to do that with Cena too. That would just really have gotten him in heat. It's the small little things too, And I think that when they look back on it, they're like, damn, we should have played Cena's music, because that would have had oh my God, the crowd would have been on fire. They'd be like, oh, he's going to say farewell. They were like, oh, maybe we could do a whole tribute and then have Gunther come out. But they did the right thing with him coming out to AJ Styles music, and it was more animated Gunther. And we'll see what happens, man, because now a lot of people thought, and I thought to myself, that they'd start something with Brock Lesnar, but
too soon.
So are they going to continue to put him? Are they going to put him into where he's a career killer, where that's all he's going to do for now? And who'd be next? Rey Mysterio? Is that what we're going to get? Especially the seeds were planted with what he did to Dragon Lee. Any thoughts of who would be Gunther's next victim? Are they going to keep him in that career killer journey, or do you think it's going to be on to something else? Because I thought it was Lesnar, but we didn't get that interaction at the Rumble.
I don't know what you're asking me, Jeff. I don't work for WWE. I'm not part of the creative team. If I knew, I would tell you right now.
Well, you're a co-host of the podcast, on a wrestling podcast, and I'm trying to ask your opinion on where the storyline you think is happening. I've been doing this for
this was an interview. I thought you were interviewing me for something. No. Honestly, listen, just go back real quick. I think the difference between the reaction he got after he defeated AJ and then the John Cena, that would have been awesome if he came out to John Cena's music. But I think that was something that I don't think even WWE expected the fans to be like so emotional over something like that. And then the manner in which it happened. I think Gunther got more heat just through the fact that they were more mad at Triple H than they were at Gunther. Here, they completely hated Gunther for being AJ Styles and the manner in which it happened, which I'm sure a lot of people wished had happened to John, where, he didn't tap out. AJ Styles just passed out in the sense. But listen, 100% excited for Gunther in terms of where this is going and what's it leading to. And to that point, I think it's going to be leading to, and we said it when John was defeated, like, dude, this guy's a career killer, not the legend killer. He's a career killer. He did it to Goldberg. He did it to Cena, did the Styles, and now in the scenario where people have always been debating, how much longer can Rey Mysterio go? And to me, it's the eye test where you're seeing Rey's body is failing him right now for the fact that he is getting injured more continuously on things that don't appear. And I say that out of respect because I don't know what it's like to be in the ring, but things that don't appear to be scenarios which cause an injury or would cause somebody to be out for a significant period of time. And the last one prior to the Rumble was like, oh man, he might have hurt his knee. God knows how many times that knee has been operated on. And so it's
7 or 6 times, at least that we know of.
Yeah, I think it's in the double digits now. But I think that's the likely it's going to happen. The only surprising thing to me is I always thought the fact that the story with him and Dominic wasn't really finished. I know Dominic got that victory over him, but what a way it would have been if Dominic would be the one to retire his father. But it looks like, from my perspective, looking at this, and you and I have looked on in terms of the rumors and people talking about it, it's going to be that it would be apropos. It would be apparent. And then you're like, who's the next person? I think it would be a Lesnar, because I think that's going to be more directed as we approach SummerSlam in the summer. And I can't wait for summer, to believe it or not. But this is my season. I think that's going to happen. But to your point, too, I think a lot of people were upset that we just at least didn't get a face-off to tease a possible Lesnar-Gunther matchup in the future. But I think all roads are leading to Rey Mysterio and calling that a career.
Yeah, I think so, too. And, just the way that it just looks to me, it just seems that that's going to be the next person to try to attempt to stand up for his friends, especially, again, what happened to Dragon Lee on Raw. But you want to talk about an amazing, amazing offer we have, Trendsetter, and that is Bucked Up Energy and just the partnership we have with Bucked Up Energy. It is a partnership where we have teamed up with the best tag team in Bucked Up Energy. And make sure that after this episode, you go to the link below and you make sure you hit that link. And on your purchase, get 20% off any offer by hitting promo code HSP1. You don't want to miss our partnership with Bucked Up Energy, and it will just continue to grow as we head into February and the rest of the year, especially with BKFC being a partner with them as well. Bucked Up Energy, it is a tremendous energy product and drink, and there's so many other things that they have there too, so make sure you go check it out. The link and the promo code is available there. Trendsetter. I think I've made it perfectly clear that I have not had goosebumps, or I have not had the chills, or I have not had this excitement for a feud in a long time, mostly probably going back to WrestleMania 40 and the whole Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns rivalry and feud, which obviously WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania 40, who can forget that memorable night in Philadelphia where Cody Rhodes finally finished the story. And then we head to, again, January 6th, that infamous Netflix debut of Monday Night Raw, and we had everything kind of just went like up in smoke, if you ask me. And ever since then, I've kind of had like this emptiness with WWE. I just have not been invested. But I think something that really got me invested into this WrestleMania, at least for 1 week, and that is a promo between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. That was absolutely outstanding. If you follow Roman Reigns from the Suffer and Succotash days and how WWE pushed him down our throats to where he is now, my God, Trendsetter, what an amazing turnaround for the Tribal Chief. And he's delivered great promos, in the recent years. But this one was absolutely, he owned it. The way he talked, the way he sold himself, the way he emphasized, and then he turned into like a lion when he talked about at WrestleMania, you will acknowledge me. I'm telling you that, and then towards the end, CM Punk being left there in the ring, and then kind of smirking, thinking, all right, we were just going to make a ton of cash here, because that promo absolutely freaking delivered. And it shows because of the views that it got all over social media. That thing went crazy viral. And I just gotta say, Trendsetter, did it at least spark a little ounce of excitement for you heading into WrestleMania this year? Did it pique your interest enough to be like, what's next?
I love you asking a question which you already know the answer to, because I said to you, when I had a chance to see you, I didn't message you when I saw the promo, but when I saw you the next day, I said to you, that's going to cause me to buy a ticket to WrestleMania. Not myself personally, but that's the draw. You want that moment where you're like, as a fan, boom, that's the reason why I'm going. And that was it. We didn't have that last year. They tried to fabricate it with whole John Cena and Cody thing, which, failed miserably, rightfully so. And a lot of people have talked about that one. But moving on to this one, that's the one you want to put your stamp on, saying if you're going to see WrestleMania for any other reason, whether it be night 1 or night 2, this is the one you're going to see it for. And you're right. That promo was amazing. Initially, I thought it was going to be a scenario where CM Punk was going to butcher Roman Reigns. And I guess I should learn by now that this isn't the sucker and succotash moments of Roman Reigns. Before then, ever since he became this version of the tribal chief, we saw his do I want to say evolution? Yeah, I'll say evolution. His evolution of this character and the confidence that portrayed in him, it carries itself over still, even though he's not the same version of the tribal chief we saw that was so dominant for 3 years as champion. He still has that charisma, that confidence with himself. And listen, man, this has been a long time coming where a lot of people have wanted to see this. And we had glimpses of it too. Again, this goes back to long-term storytelling where we saw it during, War Games. We saw it, during scenario and CM Punk came back and there's this whole thing between him and the Wise Man. We saw it kind of take another turn during WrestleMania 41 because of the fact that the Wise Man turned on both CM Punk and Roman Reigns. It was kind of the whole thing about that in the middle in between. And then with CM Punk saying what he said about, me being the reason why you're here, just because you're a champion longer, I started it first and I did it better than you did. Just because you did it longer doesn't mean you did it better. And then Roman throwing it back at him. It was amazing, dude. It was great. And listen, I'll give Phil Brooks, CM Punk his flowers too, that for somebody to be able to carry something like that on, which he's going to have to with the Roman Reigns taking some time off because he's not going to be on TV for the foreseeable future until we approach Elimination Chamber and then obviously getting closer to WrestleMania. He's the perfect guy to be able to carry this over because he's going to be doing media junkets. He's going to do pressers. He's obviously going to be on television. And he's going to throw it back in our faces of this thing and how personal it is between the two of these guys that we didn't know until we got a glimpse of it during that Raw segment. So, dude, it was amazing. That's what promos, that's what, as they say, drawing them into the building really means. And I think CM Punk and Roman Reigns did an amazing job. And if I'm Triple H, I have dollar signs in my eyes right now. Yeah. If I'm TKO, I've got dollar signs because that's going to draw people into the building, especially now that we're building this up towards WrestleMania in a couple months.
CM Punk and Roman Reigns delivered. It was a match that was one of the final dream matches that you have left in WWE. A lot of it happened through perhaps injury, most likely to Seth Rollins, and kind of changed stuff a lot. And when you think of Roman Reigns and CM Punk, if you had any doubt about it main eventing night 2 on Sunday, well, these guys just proved to you why they belong on night 2. And for all this Phil Brooks, all the CM Punk critics that say, hey, you main evented Saturday WrestleMania night 1. That truly isn't the main event. Well, those people are going to be shut up because there is no doubt that Roman Reigns and CM Punk will main event night 2. And also, I will say this. Punk and Roman Reigns was also one of the best long-term storytellings that they've done. And I'm so glad that they touched up on stuff from the past. I never thought they would talk about CM Punk trolling Roman Reigns as they walked up to the ramp. I never really thought they would touch on it, but Roman Reigns did. The Zebros thing was something that, again, was they were acknowledged that they were in a movie together. Roman Reigns actually had respect for CM Punk. And there was those times where it was Roman that looked more disgusted with Cody than when CM Punk. And I truly believe that Roman was looking at Cody Rhodes when he was talking about what championship would look better on Roman Reigns, on the tribal chief. But things change, and we're gifted with this one because you talked about the evolution of Roman Reigns. He has an aura. He's the last wrestler that has an aura. When he walks into an arena or a stadium, his entrance alone is a PLE in itself. The people standing there and acknowledging him, throwing up the ones, is without a doubt the best entrance in all of pro wrestling. And we're going to get this matchup, and it was the right move by Triple H. It would have been tough to go back to Roman and Cody. Would we have had fatigue? Depends on the story, but this is a much better story, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, you talked about Roman Reigns having to take time off and not being there. I think Roman Reigns needs to be here longer. I think he cannot be gone for 2.5 months. While CM Punk can carry those promos like only he can, I think you need Roman Reigns there just a little bit more. We have a while before WrestleMania. We're talking about April, folks. So Roman Reigns is going to have to be there a little bit more. We're going to have to see more of the Tribal Chief, at least for this time span here. We cannot have CM Punk for a month and a half deliver promo after promo because it's the luster is going to wear off. So I would love for Roman Reigns for the next few months to be a little bit more available, to be on Raws and to be where he needs to be, even if he has to appear at the Elimination Chamber, even if he has to cost CM Punk or get in his face after their match. It is Chicago, and Roman Reigns needs to be there. And they need to have that face-off in the middle of the ring in Punk's hometown, because I think that it's another thing where it's going to just draw and it's going to create a buzz. So I love the fact that they use long-term storytelling, and Punk and Roman Reigns was the match to go for WrestleMania. And for the first week at least, Trendsetter, I'm excited for this.
Me too, man. And listen, in terms of Roman Reigns and needing him basically more often, I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to see him in Elimination Chamber. He's going to disrespect CM Punk in a way of just showing up at his hometown, showing he is not afraid of this guy. He hates him, as he stated on during the Raw segment. And it's just going to lead in more of that, because you're right. You do need these two to continually be in each other's faces, not every week, but consistently enough where people are going to continually be drawn to this. Not that they're not drawn now, but like you said, if it's just CM Punk, it could wear off a little bit and there could be resentment towards it. It's not going to get the notoriety that you want to get for this as well. But yeah, this is the first time since 40 that I've been excited for a WrestleMania match, just to see it, and understanding now more than ever what builds the card. This is going to be the one where all the boys are going to be like, thanks for the house, because it will be drawing people to want to come in. But as for the Cody Roman situation, though, Jeff, listen, I don't think it was fatigue, and that's what they're going to say. I would have loved to see a Roman Cody 3 if it was done right. I think the whole scenario with the John Cena and this whole passing of the torch that happened at SummerSlam, I think in some way, my opinion, it hurt Cody. It hurt Cody in the sense that it just drew people to not feel it was authentic, to kind of, have some type of resentment. Now, yes, they'll still be chanting Cody Rhodes all over the place, but it's not Rhodes the same we've seen before. We're hearing a lot more
Rakim, the way he called himself today, Rakim.
Yeah, we're hearing a lot more boos in the audience now, and I'm thinking that you can always go back to it, but the only way it could go back to a Roman Cody 3 is now both have to be on opposite sides, and I'm not talking about brands. On opposite sides of the sphere, where Roman is this face and Cody Rhodes turns to the dark side, of which, a lot of people who are Cody fans, and I'm sure Cody himself likes to be the babyface, loves to be loved, but man, I liked Cody when he's a heel too. And I think that's an untapped resource that we have not yet seen in WWE. And I think if they ever pull that trigger, I hope they don't pull it too late like what happened with John Cena. They pull it early enough where we could see that version of Cody, which I think would be amazing on WTV.
I think the reason why people be careful what you ask for is because you have to put a baby face that can be at that level of what Cody can deliver as a heel. I think if you go back and see how Cody can be as a heel, I think he's outstanding. But you have to make it. The timing has to be right. And my question to you, Trendsetter, is why do you think that? I agree with you that Cody would have to be heel and Roman a face. Why do you think a CM Punk and Roman Reigns match works with both of them being baby faces? Why do you think this match works and CM Punk and Cody Rhodes and Roman as face, if you had them to be the two faces, why it wouldn't work?
Because if I have to describe it, it's the equivalent of I want to say instinctively a Brett and Shawn, because they're fan favorites, Roman Reigns and a CM Punk. But I think Shawn Michaels' effect actually is drawn on CM Punk because CM Punk is crooked. He's no good. He's a bad apple, but the fans love him regardless. Shawn Michaels can cheat, lie, and steal, similar to the beloved and rest in peace Eddie Guerrero, but you love them anyway. That's the kind of character that a CM Punk is. So he's not really a face or a heel, in my opinion. He is this hybrid where he does do these bad things. I mean, we spent how many times talking about this whole Drew McIntyre CM Punk angle, and I was like, why are they booing Drew McIntyre? Clearly, CM Punk is the heel in this, and they're loving it. Back to our Cobra Kai days where Daniel LaRusso, he's the heel. Johnny Lawrence is the babyface. That's great.
It's a victim, man. It's a victim.
Amazing series. But that's the effect here. And I think the reason why it works so much is because both have been so good at being so bad and now are really good at being good. I think that just draws more appeal because there are layers to this story with CM Punk and Roman Reigns, which makes it more interesting. People have seen the story, quote, story with Cody Rhodes and Roman, but it's gone stale for the fact that, unfortunately, W's creative, in my opinion, has not done a great job. And especially when you have a white meat babyface, as they call it, it just draws more resentment. They're kind of like, oh, come on, that's not really you. That's what I've been saying before in the beginning. When Cody won the title, it was amazing. And then he had some great title defenses, but it kind of started losing its luster because, listen, Cody, as much as he might be a pure heart, I don't believe he's this white meat babyface. There are moments where he's going to get ticked off and pissed off and say things that might sound heelish, which we kind of got with him and Jacob Fatu. And I was like, I need more of that Cody. I think we had that kind of Cody with Roman. I think it'd be a different story. And it may or may not be. Again, I'm just speaking hypothetically here, but I think that's why it doesn't work. I don't think it's because of exhaustion. I think it's a bunch of BS. I really feel that the whole CM Punk Roman just draws more people because they're interested, because these two characters, if you want to call them characters, are just so authentic that, like, I want to see these two go at it. That's why it's a dream match, in my opinion. That's why it draws more aura and more excitement than if we were getting a Codes Roman Reigns 3.
Rhodes and Roman. Question for you.
Rhodes, Roman Reigns.
Question for you. If you were to rank them, how would you rank them? If you were to rank Roman, CM Punk, and Cody, how would you do it?
CM Punk's 1. People are not going to agree with me when I say this. I want to say Cody's a 2, but I think Roman Reigns is a 2 and Cody's a 3 right now.
I say Roman's a 1. I say CM Punk is a 2 and Cody's a 3.
No. I don't believe it.
No?
I believe it because, again, it goes back to the scenario where he went on, was it Pat McAfee show? Yeah. And talked about how he allowed people, and I loved how CM Punk also drew to that as well, that he allowed WWE to create stars and carry the ball without him and realized they couldn't do it. But at the same time, it's like, this is the same company with you, Roman, that held you on a pedestal for so many years. So don't tell me that, out of the gracious goodness of your heart that you're coming back to help. I mean, that might be a character standpoint thing at all, but listen, like I said before, and this is just my opinion, I didn't hear after WrestleMania. I heard it during certain moments during this whole bloodline storyline, which went into the 13th inning, 17th, 19th inning, basically. There were chances of we want Roman, but as Roman would come back and leave and come back and leave, I'm not saying that the excitement or the enthusiasm or the crowd noise wasn't there for him, but I wasn't hearing chants of we want Roman. Mind you, when CM Punk was gone for 7 years, Jeff, we heard in the arenas CM Punk. And as much as I hate to give him his flowers, that shows more that, all right, you're gone for how many months? And they're chanting we want Roman. Okay. Try to be gone for 7 years and tell me that that's not bigger star power than Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, I give him his flowers of everything he did as the tribal chief and the dominance he had for those 3 years. Brought, in my opinion, I feel, the WWE into this partnership with TKO. And that's the reason of how he elevated the business. But if you're going to ask me if I think Roman Reigns is a 1 above CM Punk, I'm sorry. Listen, Roman delivered a great promo. He has this aura about him, this confidence. But if you're going to tell me from a consistent basis who's better at drawing people into the crowd, who's drawn an audience to get that reaction, instead of just standing there and going like this, to draw that reaction, whether it be love or hatred, I got to give it to Phil Brooks and CM Punk. That's why he's a number 1, Roman's a 2, and Cody's a 3 right now.
Yeah, I mean, that is a absolutely brilliant point that you talk about that 7-year absence with CM Punk and the fact that the fans that whole time were chanting CM Punk, and they would even hijack some shows because of CM Punk. Totally great defense there of why you think CM Punk has won. And you fans, in the comments below, when you see the episode, how would you rank them? How would you rank them? Would you rank Roman 1, 2, or 3? Or how would you do CM Punk? Brian made a great a defense for CM Punk to be number 1. It seems like Cody's 3. So it seems to be a race between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. So I want to hear from you guys and let us know here in the comments section, how would you rank Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes 1, 2, or 3? Just because WWE sees them as their top 3 megastars. So how would you rank Cody, Roman, and CM Punk? Let us know in the comments below, and let us know on all our social media at iSpot Podcast. Trendsetter, it is time. Again, we are on that road to Elimination Chamber in Chicago on February 26th. A lot of rumors about the matches that we're going to see. Obviously, they say that we might get CM Punk and Finn Balor. I kind of remember CM Punk before he even acknowledged Roman Reigns, he addressed Finn Balor. And so we might get that matchup. And then we had Randy Orton and Tiffany Stratton qualify for the men's and women's Elimination Chamber. So we have that going on as well. And the 26th of February, I believe we need to see CM Punk and Roman Reigns in the middle of that ring, because it's Chicago. It's the first time in a long time, I'm going to say 20 plus years, back in the United Center. So I think we need to see Roman Reigns and CM Punk in that ring on that night in Chicago, just to continue off this amazing start to this feud, because I'm telling you, man, that first impression is very important. I think it left a lasting impression and makes me want to see what's going to happen this week on Raw. Will we see the Tribal Chief? So it's going to be interesting, Trendsetter. So, I mean, we got BKFC, which is this weekend. We're on the road to WrestleMania. So much going on. Again, folks, powered up by Bucked Up Energy. Make sure that you are we are powered by Bucked Up Energy. So make sure that you follow the link below and save 20% off Bucked Up Energy. Our partnership with Bucked Up is an amazing one, folks, and you can save money on it as well. Trendsetter, amazing weekend. We are Philly bound. Looking forward to KnuckleMania 6. And great news for everybody on all of BKFC's social media platforms, on Tubi, on anywhere that BKFC KnuckleMania is available. You can watch it for absolutely free, so there is no excuse. If you haven't seen BKFC, if you want to get into it and you don't want to pay for Paramount Plus and UFC this weekend, your chance, folks. And if you're in the Philly area, go to it. And obviously it's something that's going to sell out as well, though. So either go to it, or there's no reason not to watch it on free TV. So again, all social media platforms for BKFC, you will get to see KnuckleMania 6 again, for free. My favorite word, free, F-R-E-E, free. So, I mean, you can't beat that, Trendsetter.
No, you can't beat that. And honestly, for a scenario that we're on the road to WrestleMania and looking forward to the evolution of what this industry has to offer, we're seeing the beginning of something pretty special, in my opinion, which is BKFC Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. So, guys, definitely be a part of history. We're going towards history in terms of WrestleMania, but also be a part of history in Philadelphia for KnuckleMania 6, guys. Should be an amazing time. If you're not on that bandwagon yet, get on now, because I think it's on a momentum train for 2026, which the likelihood I've never seen before, and we definitely want to be a part of that. So, for my tag team partner, Jeff Martin, I am the Trendsetter, Brian Berger. We are the Jersey Riding Crew, heading down to Philly this weekend. And remember, we do this for one reason and one reason only. We do this for you, the crew.
BKFC on the HSP Media this weekend coverage. Don't miss it.